tonight on Inside City Hall. Governor Hochul has selected former City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams to be her running mate, creating New York's first all-female ticket.
Each of these lives lost is a tragedy.
Mayor Mamdani is encouraging New Yorkers to call 311 to report anybody who appears vulnerable to the cold weather as temperatures are set to drop once again.
We are going to fix the outdoor dining program and make it year-round.
City Council Speaker Julie Menon is vowing to transform the city's outdoor dining program. And Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil will join me in studio tonight to talk about his legal future in the United States, with the Trump administration seeking to deport him. For the best news, debate, and analysis of New York politics, join us inside City Hall. Good evening. Welcome to Inside City Hall for Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. I'm Errol Lewis. Ending a guessing game, Governor Kathy Hochul today revealed that she wants former City Council Speaker Adrienne Adams to be her next lieutenant governor. But the announcement about Adams, a Queens Democrat, hit a surprising political pothole when the Brooklyn Democratic Organization announced that it is pulling its endorsement of the governor because of her choice for running mate. Our State House reporter Bernadette Hogan joins me now with tonight's top story. Good evening, Bern.
Good evening, Errol. And the governor and Adrienne Adams are expected to be in Syracuse, New York, tomorrow, ahead of the State Democratic Party's convention, where the pair is expected to be blessed ahead of the governor's re-election bid.
I never say never.
Adrienne Adams is now saying yes. Governor Kathy Hochul announced Wednesday that she's picked the former City Council Speaker to be her running mate. In a statement, Hochul said, quote, "As Donald Trump attacks this state relentlessly and Bruce Blakeman bends the knee before him, I need a fighter in my corner who'll stand strong for New York families. Adrienne Adams is that fighter." Those familiar with the search told New York One Buffalo-born Hochul wanted a downstate candidate to balance her 2026 ticket. And the Democrat from Southeast Queens fit the bill. Elected to the City Council in 2017, Adams became the chamber's first black speaker. Although rumored for months as a Hochul favorite, Adams told New York One this last December.
The pundits are saying you'd be a splendid candidate for lieutenant governor going into next year. Is that a possibility?
Thank you. I never say never. I've had no conversation, contrary to some of our friends in the media world and the political world. I have had no conversations and have not been approached to do that. But I never say never. My eyes and ears are always open.
Adams said in a statement Wednesday she is, quote, honored to stand side by side with Governor Kathy Hochul in her fight for a safe, affordable, and resilient New York. But the decision to elevate the Queens politician drew some grumbles from neighboring Brooklyn. Sources tell New York One that party leaders there pulled their endorsement of Hochul after party chair Rodneyce Bichat-Hermelin angrily complained about Adams during an emergency meeting upon hearing the news. Party leaders issued a statement saying, quote, "This is a response to the political miscalculation on the part of the governor's campaign and their failure to engage or consult Brooklyn Democratic leaders who represent New York's largest Democratic delegation." In more positive news for Hochul, New York One has learned that Mayor Zohran Mamdani is expected to endorse Hochul on Thursday. The endorsement was first reported by Politico. While not a surprise, the announcement could help her politically as she tries to stave off a primary challenge from her current lieutenant governor, Antonio Delgado. The governor's announcement about her new running mate comes 2 days before the state Democratic convention in Syracuse. And again, this is the third running mate that the governor has unveiled within the last 5 years, Errol. And also, a couple people did tell the governor no. New York One reported Donovan Richards, the Queensborough president, and state senator from the Bronx, Jamal Bailey, also said no, they didn't want to continue in further the vetting process.
Right. So no, in those cases didn't necessarily mean they were asked. Exactly. It just meant that they didn't want to get really checked out.
Exactly. They didn't want to continue to, act like they were interested and then they really weren't. It's like dating. Like, actually, don't take me on another date, Governor.
Well, this fight with the Brooklyn organization, what's that about? When they say political miscalculation, What's to calculate?
Part of this, sources have told me, is that Ronice Bichot-Hermelins, a state assemblywoman was also floated as a possibility, although, you know, just talking to people throughout this process, she wasn't seriously considered. But she convened this emergency meeting earlier around noon, and she said that she wanted to rescind the party's endorsement, which was given earlier this month. Now, whether or not this will have any meaning on how the convention goes out, right, which is an inter-party politics, she said no Brooklyn delegates will endorse the governor. It's mainly, you know, making a statement from Brooklyn Democrats against the governor. Will it have any practical meaning? I don't know. But another thing that I've heard also is that the powerful Hotel Trades Union, which just had a massive rally endorsing the governor's reelection bid, they might have some things to say about Adrienne Adams, because Adrienne Adams backed a pro-Airbnb bill during the last council's session before the new year, which they were very opposed to. So it'll be interesting to see what the union thinks about this choice.
Sounds like there'll be a lot going on at the convention, and I know you're going to be there, so we'll look forward to hearing all about it. Thanks a lot, Bernadette. Meanwhile, as severe cold weather continues, Mayor Mamdani provided an update on the city's efforts to get homeless individuals into shelter. This comes as the number of New Yorkers found dead outdoors has risen to 17. Our Dan Rivoli was with the mayor today at a briefing and joins us now with the details. Good evening, Dan.
Good evening, Errol. New Yorkers caught a break with the cold temperatures these past few days, but even colder weather is coming this weekend, and at night with the wind, New Yorkers could be feeling sub-zero temperatures. That is dangerous for so many homeless men and women in New York. And so Mayor Mamdani, as he has been doing during these news conferences, is opening them up with an update. So today, Mayor Mamdani announced 17 people had been found dead outdoors. That includes 13 suspected cases of hypothermia, 3 suspected drug overdoses. 1 death is being investigated, the cause unknown so far. Meanwhile, 20 people have been involuntarily removed from the street. And since January 19th, when New York went into code blue, 1,100 people have been placed into a shelter. And the mayor is trying to get the word out about these warm places people can go any way he can. As our viewers can see here, these messages are appearing on the Link NYC kiosks on sidewalks all around the city. Mayor Mamdani gave this update in Far Rockaway, Queens, at a public housing development, Beach 41st Street Houses, where residents there have been suffering with heat and hot water outages because of a steam leak, and that steam leak has caused some community spaces to be off limits. So crews are going to fix that, and Mayor Mamdani announced that 712 apartments in this complex will be getting electric heat pumps, keep residents warm in the winter and cool in the summer. No diesel required, and that comes with more than $30 million in funding. But as the cold weather plans to get worse over the weekend, Mayor Mamdani said his team is working with urgency to get homeless New Yorkers aware of the warming centers, the warming buses, and the shelters they can go to
ensure that we have warming buses, that we have warming centers, that we have safe haven sites, shelters, not only that are available, but also that we are having outreach teams do the direct outreach to connect homeless New Yorkers with.
Meanwhile, Mayor Mamdani also addressed last week's shooting of Jabez Chakraborty, a 22-year-old man in Queens. An NYPD officer shot him in his home while responding to a mental health call. The NYPD had released body camera video and the 911 call. In that body camera video, you can see Chakraborty with a kitchen knife walking towards a police officer. The 911 call from a relative asked for an involuntary transport and ambulance. The 911 operator informed her that these calls are typically dispatched with police. All of this leading to questions for Mamdani about his proposed Department of Community Safety that would have other kinds of officials responding to these mental health calls and not just police. And the mayor is also still working through some of those questions himself about the role the NYPD should be playing in these cases.
The questions at the heart of our pursuit of the Department of Community Safety are looking to answer exactly what mental health crisis response should look like. And I think what we are seeing is what it does look like today.
And Mayor Mamdani is working with the City Council on legislation that would create this Department of Community Safety, Errol.
When it comes to the cold snap and people who are in danger, my understanding is that the city is urging people like our viewers to call 311 if they see somebody who's in need of assistance. Is that right?
That's right. Typically, when a New Yorker sees someone in an encampment or in need of help, they will call 311. And because of this code blue, those calls are rerouted to 911. Now, the problem is reporters have been telling the mayor at these news conferences that they themselves have tried calling 311, even calling 911 directly, and finding the result not satisfactory, that the information is not being relayed correctly, or the ambulance has not been there to help the person these reporters are trying to call. So they asked the mayor about this, and he says, we're evaluating this. So he is aware that it is not working as intended.
So, yeah, if you call and you say, look, there's somebody who's clearly in distress or living outdoors or might, in fact, have a real problem, who shows up? Is it the cops? Is it the fire department? Is it who is going to be dispatched?
Right, and it should be an ambulance. And the NYPD is a part of this outreach. The mayor was asked about his plans. This was back when he was a candidate, that he didn't want the police involved in homeless services. They should be out fighting crime. But the mayor says that the NYPD is a critical part of the outreach. They have been going out there to people on the street and saying, you need to get someplace warm. And in those very limited cases, involuntarily removing someone, the mayor said that has been a last resort. That's why you see so few people over these past few weeks actually being taken off the streets against their will.
Okay, thanks very much, Stan. We are going to take a short break now. When we come back, could outdoor dining return to our city year-round? City Council Speaker Julie Menin is pushing to make that happen. We'll explain next. Stay with us.
Every day tells a new story. At Mornings on One, we're dedicated to bringing you the stories that matter most to start your day, with in-depth coverage of the day's news.
I'm Pat Kernan. Here are the stories we're following.
And weather updates every 10 minutes.
Tomorrow, some morning sunshine possible. Clouds take over.
It's our responsibility to get you the information you need before you head out the door. Mornings on One. Weekdays starting at 6 on the Spectrum News app. Free for Spectrum and Xfinity customers.
When you're connected with Spectrum, you get 5G and fiber-powered internet combined for the fastest wireless speeds. So you can sweat for the right reasons. It's only the seamless connection you love at home, everywhere you go. It's only everything.
I'm Sandra, this is Jorge, and we were adopted in 2019. I remember when they first came to us, Michael was already a teenager. The whole cliche of, they're so lucky to have you guys, and it's the other way around. They have changed our family for the better. They chose to love us. They didn't have to. They chose us. Family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
And that's a look at some of what's in the papers this morning. You've done with the sports section.
Today's story is about the latest chapter for a beloved local business.
It's a beautiful day with temperatures in the 60s, but showers are expected in the next hour.
In a city that's always on the go, it's important to stop to hear the stories that connect us.
The news that matters to New Yorkers. That's what brings us together. That's Mornings on One.
Weekdays starting at 6.
Welcome back to Inside City Hall. City Council Speaker Julie Menin says she wants to bring back year-round outdoor dining sheds. Our Kelly Mena has more on one of the first legislative pushes from the new speaker. Good evening, Kelly.
Good evening, Errol. That's her first legislative push and a big change to the city's outdoor dining program that she hopes to make a reality later this year.
We are going to fix the outdoor dining program and make it year-round.
City Council Speaker Julie Menin has good news for the restaurant industry. The council plans to pass legislation that will make outdoor dining sheds open the entire year.
These measures are going to help small businesses survive and adapt by basically clearing up policies of the past that can lead to closures and job loss.
Outdoor dining exploded during the pandemic as businesses looked to survive amid social distancing rules. But in 2023, the council passed legislation making outdoor dining a permanent and regulated program with strict guidelines on designs and fees. Under the program, restaurants can operate sidewalk setups year-round, but roadway cafe sheds are limited from April to November.
So many restaurants couldn't afford to participate. There was too much red tape.
Andrew Ridgey, the executive director of the NYC Hospitality Alliance, says the current program is too strict and costly for business.
Allow restaurants to do year-round roadway dining so they don't have the expense of setting up an outdoor dining structure only to break it down, put it in storage, pay for it for many months, and then pay to set it back up again.
Before the permanent program, there were 12,000 outdoor dining structures. As of April of last year, about 600 restaurants applied for roadway dining setups, while about 2,000 applied for sidewalk setups, according to the city's Department of Transportation. Mayor Zohran Mamdani on Wednesday seemed to have an appetite for the plan.
Yeah, I do support outdoor dining year-round.
Last year, City Councilman Lincoln Ressler introduced legislation to return the program to its COVID-era form. Menin says she will be advancing that bill. As for anyone worried about the impact on parking, Menin said,
First of all, we're not going to be taking away parking spots. We have a number of ideas to make sure that for those areas where districts feel there's oversaturation, we have a couple of ideas we're going to introduce to address that.
Now, this is a legislative push. The council will have to go through the normal legislative process to get these new rules instated, which includes having a hearing on the new bill and also possibly making some changes. The goal, though, of this proposal is to allow more businesses to participate in this outdoor dining program, Errol.
So is the problem that they don't want to bear the cost of taking down the sheds when it's inclement weather like we've seen for the last couple of weeks?
Well, in a way, Errol. So what happens is, you know, you have to pay for these these temporary structures to be stored somehow, and that is a part of the cost of being in the program. There's also a lot of restrictions and guidelines around what the structure can look like, and only certain vendors are capable of supplying that type of material and designs that allow you to participate in the program, and that's why participation dipped so much from what we saw during the pandemic, and they want to be able to allow the businesses that want to participate to be able to do that.
It's such an interesting week for her to float this idea where, you know, between the garbage that's been piling up, the cars that have been snowed under, this is not a place where you can do stuff at the curbside, at least year-round.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's why it was seasonal from April 1st to November, not in the winter months. You know, and the city does have this, I guess, tension between parking spaces, bike lanes, and how road space should be used. And that really was the conundrum for the city council when they were coming up with the program in the first place. So I think for her, those are things that she's going to have to think about, discussions that have to be made. And she mentioned that about how certain communities are more open to having these roadway cafes than others, and how she's going to balance that. We'll have to wait and see.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kelly. Also tonight, with his genial disposition, Cardinal Timothy Dolan forged close relationships with mayors, governors, and other elected officials during his 17 years leading the New York Archdiocese. But the Cardinal was not shy about inserting himself into political debates, pushing back against government policies that conflicted with Catholic doctrine. Our Bobby Kuza joins me now with more on Dolan's role in political life here in New York. Good evening, Bobby.
Good evening, Errol. The reason we're talking so much about Cardinal Dolan is because his tenure ends on Friday with the elevation of his successor, Archbishop-designate Ronald Hicks. So we decided to take a look at how he did not only in the spiritual realm, but also the political realm, where he always seemed to be very much at home.
Cardinal Timothy Dolan wasn't afraid to put up a fight.
You bet we got a disagreement.
In 2012, he was a leading voice pushing back against the Obama administration over mandated health coverage for contraception.
The government does not have the right to butt into the internal governance and teaching of the church.
He was vocal in opposing same-sex marriage and expanded abortion rights, taking his case to the halls of power in Albany.
We feel a high responsibility to speak up for the baby in the womb. And whenever we see the abortion license being strengthened or consolidated or expanded, we get more and more worried.
But the jovial Dolan also charmed political leaders, always managing to disagree without being disagreeable. As he told New York One in a 2010 interview, he preferred to lobby privately before going public, saying this about then Mayor Bloomberg.
Will there be issues? There will, I'm sure, and he knows it too. But boy, oh boy, at least we're on each other's Rolodexes, and at least we know how to get in touch with each other.
When Mayor de Blasio took office in 2014, the two forged a close partnership.
We are radiant about the emphasis that he's put on universal PK.
They worked together on education and affordable housing. Dolan also helped try to diffuse tensions in the wake of Eric Garner's death at the hands of police. He earned not only the respect, but also the affection of elected leaders.
He's a good guy. He's a lot of fun to hang around with, I have to tell you.
And Dolan served as a political peacemaker. At the annual Al Smith Charity Dinner, a traditional stop on the presidential campaign trail, Dolan made Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, and even Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, appear at least briefly to be old friends. But Dolan couldn't avoid partisan politics, drawing criticism when he agreed to appear at the 2012 Republican convention. He subsequently accepted an invite from the Democrats.
Be still and know that I am God.
He also delivered prayers at both of President Trump's inaugurations. Their friendly relationship and Dolan's regular appearances on Fox News rankled some liberal Catholics, but he was always embraced by New York's left-leaning political class, a happy warrior with that irrepressible laugh.
And you saw some video there of the city council. Dolan was just honored at the city council at their meeting last week. He also met with Mayor Mamdani. I believe it was back in November or October, just before the election. It would have been interesting to see what kind of relationship they forged. Obviously, Mamdani, the first Muslim mayor of the city. We'll see if his successor, if Dolan's successor, Ronald Hicks, plays a similar type of role in political life.
And he's leaving, why? They have age limits, sort of term limits for cardinals?
Yeah, that's exactly right. After a certain age, you have to submit your resignation, and in this case, it has now been accepted. But he had a 17-year run as the archbishop, and, as you saw, he forged a lot of political alliances in that time.
Yeah. And of course, one of the things you have to do when you're running the archdiocese is he's had to deal with churches, parishes, and certainly schools that had to be closed, which becomes, within the world of the archdiocese, really quite controversial.
It is. And I mean, all the financial considerations, considering all the lawsuit settlements with victims of church abuse. And that was another political issue that he was often dealing with. Albany, in Albany, there was various pieces of legislation. There was look-back windows for victims of sexual assault to file suit. So that was a whole nother dimension of the type of politics that he had to deal with. And that were a great difficulty. And even now, there you see the church selling off property because they find themselves in such a financial hole.
Okay, thanks very much, Bobby. It is time now for a break. Coming up, the Trump administration is pulling 700 federal immigration agents out of Minneapolis. We'll explain why in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
There's nothing quite like the feeling of going to the theater. Onstage celebrates that excitement every week by taking you behind the scenes with the latest news and in-depth interviews of the hottest shows on and off Broadway. So grab a seat, because this is a show you won't want to miss. Join us every Saturday and Sunday at 7:30 p.m. for Onstage.
Onstage is presented by your Tri-State Cadillac dealers. Discover which Cadillac is right for you and elevate your journey.
It's only a hike. It's only made possible by Spectrum Business connecting healthcare providers of all sizes. Like hospitals relying on the Spectrum Fiber broadband network with industry-leading reliability. Practices keeping patient data safe with advanced security. Pharmacies accessing records in the cloud without fail. It's tailored connectivity solutions built for life-changing moments. It's only a hike. It's only everything. Spectrum Business.
Mom was always organized, but she started forgetting to pay her bills on time.
And she'd buy the same gifts over and over.
Telling the girls about my Alzheimer's diagnosis was really hard.
At first, we had our cries, but then we were like, okay, let's make a plan.
Early detection gave us time to adapt together.
It's so important for you to think about what you can do and making the most of what you have.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
From my time growing up in Queens watching New York One to my time reporting here, I've seen how quickly a story can change. At News All Day, we bring you the news as it's happening, from around the boroughs to local government to your neighborhood, because our city never stops moving.
Hi, I'm Shannon Ferry with the day's developing stories, but first,
stay up to date and informed with News All Day, weekdays from noon to 4.
Welcome back to Inside City Hall. The Trump administration says it is withdrawing hundreds of immigration enforcement agents from Minneapolis. This comes after the shooting deaths of 2 Minneapolis residents by federal officers raised questions about the tactics of immigration agents in that state. National political reporter Taylor Popolars has the latest from the White House.
White House border czar Tom Homan announced Wednesday that nearly a third of the 3,000 federal immigration agents on the ground in Minnesota will be leaving.
Effective immediately, we will draw down 700 people effective today. 700 law enforcement personnel.
The deadly shootings of Minneapolis residents Renee Good and Alex Preddy by federal agents last month had placed a critical spotlight on operations against undocumented immigrants in the state.
This is smarter enforcement, not less enforcement.
Homan insisted President Donald Trump's mass deportation operation will continue, but he acknowledged changes were needed, like requiring federal officers to wear body cameras. In an interview with NBC News, President Donald Trump talked up the new approach.
I learned that maybe we can use a little bit of a softer touch, but you still have to be tough.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey posted on social media, 2,000 federal agents isn't a de-escalation. My ask remains, Operation Metro Surge needs to end. The moves follow an unofficial hearing held Tuesday by Democrats in Congress to highlight alleged abuses by immigration agents. Good's 2 brothers were among the witnesses.
The completely surreal scenes taking place on the streets of Minneapolis are beyond explanation.
Democrats are hoping to leverage outrage over the 2 shootings in negotiations over funding for immigration enforcement.
Dramatic changes are necessary at the Department of Homeland Security.
Democrats want federal agents to obtain judicial warrants for certain operations, wear body cameras, and never wear masks out in the field. Lawmakers gave themselves until the end of next week to strike a deal. Reporting at the White House, Taylor Popolars, Spectrum News.
It is time now for a break. Coming up, Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil will join me in studio. We'll talk about his fight against the Trump administration, which is seeking to deport him. Stay with us.
My time at New York One has shown me that in the city that never sleeps, the news never stops. So as the day winds down, turn to the rush hour.
Good afternoon, I'm Monica Kirkland.
To catch up on the stories that matter across the 5 boroughs, with in-depth interviews from the city's newsmakers, plus the latest forecast. Catching you up with today, preparing you for tomorrow. Right here on the Rush Hour. Weekdays from 4 to 7 p.m.
It's only a slice. It's only made possible by Spectrum, connecting businesses of all sizes, like small businesses, instantly serving up orders and inventory on the Spectrum fiber broadband network, and factories, seamlessly connecting to farmers in the field with tailored solutions that always deliver. It's only a slice. It's only everything. Get your business free fiber-powered internet forever. Call to find out how.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. My service never stops.
At Spectrum Noticias, we recognize that our New York City community is vibrant and diverse.
Spectrum Noticias delivers balanced coverage of the stories that matter in our communities and across the country.
Our journalists are based in the neighborhoods we cover, ensuring you get in-depth reporting on what's happening in the places we call home.
So join us at Spectrum Noticias. We're always on, always there for you.
Now available on your TV. Check your local listings. Also available on the Spectrum News app.
Welcome back to Inside City Hall. Columbia University graduate and student activist Mahmoud Khalil made international headlines last year, becoming an early example of the Trump administration's crackdown on pro-Palestinian speech. Following his release from immigration detention back in June, Khalil reunited with his wife and their newborn child in Manhattan. But last month, a federal appeals court reversed a lower court decision that released Khalil, who is a legal permanent resident. He's got a green card, but the ruling now means it opens the door, at least, to the possibility of a rearrest and even deportation. Mahmoud Khalil joins me now in studio to talk about his legal path forward and much more. Welcome back to the program. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me, Al.
I know this has been a harrowing experience all the way around. How's your family doing? How's your son?
I mean, we're doing as much as we could. You know, the administration deprived us from the normalcy of having just a normal life. And it's, you know, it's always on my mind. Now it has been almost a year since this very horrifying chapter started in my life.
Are you and your wife able to just kind of do regular work? I mean,
no, not really. I would be lying if I say so. Like, I mean, you know, like now every morning I would take my son to the park, and now I can't because what I fear mostly that ICE would arbitrarily detain me, leaving my son in the street. So we're really like trying to limit as much as possible such incidents, because, you know, the administration knows and they acknowledge that they cannot rearrest me now as long as an appeal is ongoing. But does the administration care about the law now?
In fact, yeah, to bring my viewers up to date, you were originally arrested, you were held for more than 100 days. The Trump administration citing a law from the 1950s that purportedly gives the Secretary of State the power to order the removal of people whose presence is contrary to foreign policy somehow. Your defense, of course, is that you have a constitutional right to free speech and you can't be jailed for it. Has that question in particular ever made its way to court? Has that been settled?
No, not yet. So now what the court is discussing actually whether a federal court can look into my case or not. So no one is looking into the merits of my case. And now almost 1 year after my detention, the administration has not accused me of any crime. And they did not even present any evidence of any wrongdoing. Like, even if the things they say it's foreign policy threat, any of that, they did not present anything. It's all based on smears from tabloids and fake, or I mean, accounts online, which is scary to any individual here. What we're asking for is due diligence and due process. Sorry, what we're asking for is due process and rule of law, which is the bare minimum that any human being could ask for.
I understand you're also suing the Trump administration. This is for money, though, right?
It's actually not. It's for money, but it's for accountability. And what we're suing for is either $20 million or an apology from the administration for its wrongdoing against me and against those in my position. Because what this administration is doing, they are literally defying the laws, going after anyone who they don't like, and they are not paying the price for that. So someone needs to pay the price for that, and this is just one avenue of accountability that I'm seeking. because what I lost is tremendous. I lost my liberty. I lost the birth of my son. I lost like my reputation by all these baseless smears from this administration.
Yeah. You missed your first Father's Day too, so you've got one coming up in June.
Yeah, I hope I will be here then. So we'll see.
We asked the Department of Homeland Security for a statement, and they gave us something that they basically had said a few weeks ago, saying that you should self-deport and leave the country before they take action to remove you. That, of course, sounds like a threat. Is that something you have considered?
You know, like, my wife is American, my son is American, I live here, New York is my home, I studied here, and I plan to fight my case in court. So if they have anything to present, let's see them in court. That's why they're trying everything in their power to avoid going to court. That's what they're asking the judges, is like, you're not supposed to look at this case. It's an executive case. We know what we're doing. So if they actually have a case, let's present it in court.
Right. One of the things that has happened since we last spoke is the upheaval in Minneapolis and elsewhere. What do you make of that? And do you see that as related to your case?
I mean, it's absolutely scary. You know, every day when I wake up, when I see on the TV, like when I saw Really Good and just like Alex Pretty, like being killed, like that could have been me, and that could have been any one of us in this country. What they did is only, you know, upholding their basic right, which is to speak up against injustices or speak up for things they believe in. And this is, you know, my case was the first of going after those who the administration disagree with. And that was the blueprint. And this is what the administration did. The administration did not hide their intention. They said that this case will be the blueprint that we will go after every single person who we disagree with, whether they're citizens or not citizens. They're starting with the weak, the Palestinians, because they feel that, you know, there isn't much support within the political system here to support Palestinians. So they would go after it, then they prove their point, and they start going after everyone else. So it's really scary, and, you know, like, I'm very fearful that this would spread out across the country, which happened, you know, like, it's Minneapolis, it's Portland, and LA.
Interestingly, what has happened is that support for the Palestinian cause, for Palestinians, has become politically more acceptable, and witnessed the election of Mayor Zohran Mamdani. I'm wondering if you've spoken to him about your case, and if he's going to be able to speak up for you.
Yeah, no, I absolutely support and value the support of Mayor Mamdani in my case. He has been very outspoken since the beginning, since even before, you know, becoming that front runner in the election, and I absolutely value his support. I also value the support of Representative Jerry Nadler, who has also been outspoken. And they would take this opportunity to call on the leadership of the Democratic Party, on Schumer and Jeffrey, to do more. To defend the rights of New Yorkers, the rights of Americans to free speech, to due process. And you know, our team and the mayor's team are in contact, and they believe that, you know, Mayor Mamdani will be there should they need any support.
Okay, and I guess finally, as an activist, you know, you want to make an impact. I guess you could never have anticipated that this would be it, but are you satisfied that you've moved forward with advancing the cause that brought you into this in the first place?
I mean, the cost that, you know, like, I lost the birth of my child. I lost my liberty for something that I shouldn't have been jailed for. I came to this country under the promise that this country is the land of the free, that they would respect First Amendment freedom of speech, and to find myself in a position where I am being targeted, I'm being criminalized for speaking out. It's something I never envisioned. Now I find myself here, you know, I can't do much about it, but I take it with pride, and I would take this responsibility to advance and advocate for the rights of my people, for human rights, for everyone, with absolute pride.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. We'll wish you the best of luck. Stay in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for coming through.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a short break now. When we come back, I'll talk more about the Trump administration's immigration crackdown, that and much more with my weekly politics panel. Stay with us.
After 30 years of forecasting for New York, I've learned it takes a dedicated team to cover all the weather our city has to offer. As chief meteorologist at New York One, I'm honored to be able to help New Yorkers plan their day.
Morning, noon, or night, our team is here to bring you accurate forecasts you can count on, from severe weather updates to our weather on the ones. Watch the New York One weather experts with your weather on the ones on your TV and on the go with the Spectrum News app.
I moved from Dallas to Los Angeles all by myself. The order of things I wanted to set up was internet, water, then power. I needed to take a shower, but I really did need the internet for work and to watch my shows. That's kind of a crazy thing to admit in front of a camera. Pretend I didn't say that. I got to Spectrum. I was so relieved that I was getting the best bang for my buck. It was a huge weight taken off of my shoulders.
Real customers, real savings. To see how much you can save, visit spectrum.com/save.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
My father was a New York City firefighter. My mission, like his, is to serve New Yorkers in a city that doesn't stop when the sun goes down. Being with New York One since the beginning, I'm now honored to join you even earlier each weeknight. Starting at 8 with New York Tonight, we'll explore the latest news developments, followed by New York One at 10 to wrap up your day. So join me each weeknight starting at 8 right here on New York One.
The pundits are saying you'd be a splendid candidate for lieutenant governor going into next year. Is that a possibility?
Thank you. I never say never. I've had no conversation, contrary to some of our friends in the media world and the political world. I have had no conversations and have not been approached to do that. But I never say never. My eyes and ears are always open.
Welcome back to Inside City Hall, where we are turning back to Governor Hochul's pick of Adrienne Adams as her running mate. Joining me to talk about that and much more is my weekly politics panel. Susan Kang is a political science professor at John Jay College and a leading member of the New York City Democratic Socialists of America. And joining us, as he does every Wednesday, is New York One political commentator Gerson Barrero. Thank you both for being here. As you saw, as a move that was first predicted on this program, Governor Hochul has selected Adrienne Adams to join her re-election ticket. It is the first all-women statewide ticket in New York history. What do you make of this pick?
I think it's a good pick. I'm glad that there's a New York City-based lieutenant governor. Last time we didn't really see Hochul here at all. I hope that she is campaigning to get out the vote for her in the general election. Interesting choice. It brings diversity, but not age diversity. So maybe that's a strategic decision not to pick someone who might want to challenge her more in terms of ambition.
Yeah, I think she's had enough of the challenges, right?
The age can be something that's a detriment, and these days with the rookie mayor at the age he's at, I don't mean it as an offense. The one I've said, I don't mind him being a socialist, a communist, but the age factor is beginning to show and experience beginning to show. So I think it's an excellent pick. It's one that I called for a long time. I wanted Antonio Delgado removed. I think Adrienne Adams adds something to the ticket as an independent who doesn't vote in primaries. I'm already looking, Okay, now you got me, Hochul. I didn't vote for you last time. I didn't vote for the Republican. Now there's somebody I can vote for that I trust. I think she's a mature person. Not in the age thing. I think she handled the city council well. She wasn't perfect, but she had a lot of things open. Her first time all-woman council. I think she just shows tremendous strengths and qualities that are not vociferous and loudmouth and, you know, trying to play to the game like Julie Menon did today at the breakfast, and she's trying to, and she had a whole lap dogs there of city council members. So I figure I sneaked that in. I'm very pleased. I know you're going to do well, Governor Hochul. Among the few things that, bravo, brava.
Right.
Excellent.
You say, and you like to see her at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, you told us, right?
I do. I see her at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and she's a good dancer, too. Yes, I'm going to throw your stuff out there.
Adrienne Adams is a good dancer. Okay. Now, there's, of course, another ticket in formation. Lieutenant Governor Antonio Delgado, who is challenging Hochul, has selected India Walton, who is a DSA candidate from Buffalo, as his running mate. Here's part of an ad that they released today.
It's important to me to have a partner in this fight who understands the working families are going through, who wants to make a real difference.
We have to protect people, especially with the current administration.
We need to pass New York for All to protect our families
and neighbors from ICE.
We need the New York Health Act.
And we have to build housing that we can afford.
Okay, whether you like them or not, it's actually a very good ad. They both have a history of winning upsets. Delgado, of course, unseated a Republican incumbent, John Faso, years ago, and Walton won the Democratic nomination for mayor of Buffalo against a 3-term incumbent. So assess this ticket. What do you think?
Well, let's see how they do at the convention. The Democrats are getting together. They'll decide where they are. I think they'll get a good sense of what's going to happen in the communities throughout the state when they actually meet their own. The people that are going to move or pull votes for whoever they decide to go. I don't think it's going to be Delgado. I think that Delgado should have, you know, he overstayed his welcome. He's an ingrate as far as I'm concerned, and I'm an independent. So you can imagine the loyalists in the Democratic Party.
Okay. I mean, the reason I brought up their history as both winning upsets is, you know, by definition, they can sort of sniff out stuff that maybe the rest of us aren't perceiving.
You know, I like having left challengers in this race. I think it makes Hochul have to clarify her positions to a broad range of primary voters. So I like that. You know, New York Health Act, with increasing health care premiums, why not have a conversation about Medicare for all at the state level? I welcome the debate and the discussion. I don't think they're going to win, but we also should not take, for granted that Hochul should, you know, just think about her MAGA challenger.
This should be a slam dunk for you personally, right? Because your union supported Adrienne Adams during the campaign, or am I wrong? So you personally didn't vote?
Like as part of a ranked vote.
Yeah, but so you're not sold on Adrienne Adams at all, you personally?
No, I think that she's a good choice. I said that already.
No, I know that, but I'm just,
but like,
I'm going to find out. I want to push
mayor.
it a little bit more. I'm gonna be...
I think that she's a good choice for this, and I think that, you know, like I said, I like a New York City-based running mate, because I really felt that Hochul made an error by taking votes for granted in New York City.
But you also have a problem with the age.
And I don't have a problem with age. It's interesting, I said.
Oh.
Because
I'm interpreting this all wrong.
Right.
I'm sorry, Professor.
No, not at all. I think that she made that strategically.
Find everything interesting.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
because she didn't want to pick somebody who might want to challenge her too much. So she wanted a good team player, is what I'm saying. And I think that she did a good job.
Okay. Let us take a short break. I've got more to talk about with this panel. We'll do that in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
We have so many ways to stay connected. A single touch can bring us closer to the families we love, the friends we know, and the city we share. And Spectrum helps us keep connected throughout the day, every day. Including more ways to watch New York One as a Spectrum Internet customer. Watch Spectrum News New York One on the Spectrum News app, available on all your favorite devices.
There's an international travel plan with Spectrum that was an additional $10 a month, as opposed to paying a ridiculous amount per day for roaming fees. This literally
really felt like my old phone carrier was reaching their hand into my wallet and just helping themselves to some of my cash. I like having no surprises when it comes to my cell phone bill. And with Spectrum, that's been the case. So it's saved me a ton of money.
Real customers, real savings. To see how much you can save, visit spectrum.com/save.
Every day tells a new story. At Mornings on One, we're dedicated to bringing you the stories that matter most to start your day with in-depth coverage of the day's news.
I'm Pat Kernan. Here are the stories we're following.
And weather updates every 10 minutes.
Tomorrow, some morning sunshine possible. Clouds take over.
It's our responsibility to get you the information you need before you head out the door. Mornings on One. Weekdays starting at 6 on the Spectrum News app. Free for Spectrum and Xfinity customers.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome back to Inside City Hall, where I am once again joined by my politics panel, Professor Susan Kang and our own Herson Barrero. We've got a third candidate jumping into the race for New York 7. That's the Congressional District. This is for the Democratic primary for the 7th District, where Nydia Velázquez, who's the first Puerto Rican woman ever elected to Congress, is retiring. Now, the other two candidates are Claire Valdez, a DSA member who's Mexican-born, and Brooklyn Borough President Antonio Reynoso, who is Dominican-American. So I asked Councilmember Juan how she feels about running in a district that was originally specifically created as an opportunity to elect a Latino candidate. Here's what she said.
I believe that representation goes beyond just our demographics. And as a majority immigrant district, I would be the only immigrant running for office. And I believe that we have more shared experiences navigating the very complex immigration system that we currently have that needs to be comprehensively reformed. And there are more similarities in our experiences in this country as immigrants than those that divide us racially.
And to be fair, the district has a fast-growing East Asian population. Does her entry into the race help or hurt either of the other candidates, do you think?
That's an interesting question. Some people say it will hurt Claire because Claire is Queens-based. But I don't really know sort of ideologically where she puts herself and like politically in terms of like who endorses her. Because the major endorsements seem to already kind of been taken. So I'm just really curious what the goals are, given the way that the power has already clearly, I guess, aligned themselves with the existing candidates. I think this is a candidacy where she wants to make her profile more prominent, both at the city, state, and the national level. I don't know if this is something that she necessarily thinks she's going to win.
Last time I checked, Ms. Juan was a native New Yorker. Valdez is not. She was here for 10 years. And people get upset at me because I say, you know, she just jumped in here. She's not from here. Julie Juan is. So let her run. She's got as much right to run, the developing Southeast Asian community. So let everybody come in. Don't be afraid. The more the merrier. It'll be her point of view. I think that's fair. It's fair game. Reynoso wins or Valdez wins. I hope not. I really feel strongly a person coming in and being from a major union from outside, coming in telling New Yorkers what to do, I prefer one get elected or Reynoso. Simple as that.
Interesting. And you say she's only been here for 10 years.
Yes. Valdez. And bring her on and then have me on the same day so I can point some things out to her.
No,
she's a carpetbagger.
It's only us old guys who think that 10 years is a short amount of time.
Well, it is. It is, Errol. It is.
All right. New York's current cold wave has tragically claimed 17 lives so far, triggering a public debate over whether the Mamdani administration should continue the policy that was created under his predecessor, Eric Adams, of systematically dismantling encampments of homeless people and requiring them to accept spots in city shelters. Is Mamdani making a mistake by kind of sidestepping the question? Because they haven't really said yes or no, but just kind of come back to the issue of we're going to try and keep everybody safe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert on homelessness policy, right? But it feels like Mayor Mamdani's trying to figure out the best compromise of respecting people's rights to make decisions about themselves and also taking care of their basic needs. And so my understanding is that there have been no deaths in these encampments. And so the encampments are communities where I think people are caring for each other in the capacity that they have, and that there is a checklist that the police or other emergency services use when they're deciding about if a call gets made to 311. And, you know, I feel like he's receptive, he's curious, you know, and also talking to people and asking them what they need is a very important dignity-based approach.
Still, in a city like this, of so many multimillionaires and billionaires, there's 17 deaths of New Yorkers. And it could be anybody. For the grace of God, it could be any of us. And if you don't believe that, then you haven't lived in New York long enough. To your reference to 7 deaths, I've been here since I was 5 years old. I think he's doing a job that is very difficult for any person. In 35 days to have 17 deaths, that's nothing to sneeze at. However, I see that we're patient with him, and we want to be. I wonder if we would have the same attitude if it was Mayor Cuomo. See the difference here? And there is a difference, and it doesn't matter to me. It's people who are dying. I think he's handling it well, but again, I bring back, if it was Mayor Cuomo, would we be sitting here? We'd be, oh, he's letting them die, and bring up the nursing home. So let's be fair to Mayor Mamdani, which I think he really is, and I really think he cares for the human life of all New Yorkers. But then don't forget that we're political in the sense that we, you know, well, no, let's give him a break because he's the rookie.
No, I would be yelling. So because
of course you'd be yelling,
right.
But you're not yelling about Mamdani
because
now.
Because Cuomo cut the funding for housing that created this homeless
now you
population.
bring it. But what about him? What is he doing? We're not criticizing.
Mamdani was never the governor.
That's the problem with you socialists. That's the problem with you socialists.
It's not a problem with socialists.
Yes,
people
it
who
is.
understand political history.
No, political history.
Here's the problem. The problem is that when people talk about encampments, they're just talking about a strategy. They're not even talking about an outcome. Because as you mentioned, at least 3 of the deaths were from overdoses. Had nothing to do with encampments.
Correct.
The rest, as far as we can tell, according to the city, were not of people who were in encampments. And there is some evidence, and I know there's some solid science behind this, that an encampment is as terrible as it is actually people watching out for each other. So you actually are more likely to get help. Someone will go and say, hey, my friend is in trouble. And that might be, in fact, why you haven't seen any deaths.
And isn't you have Mr. Banks in there who's really an expert on homelessness? So what is Steve doing?
Well, yeah, there's sooner or later this administration is going to have to come up with some answers because clearly people are upset about how all of this is
I say to
going
New
down.
Yorkers, give him a break. This is a lot to deal with, and he's got the budget and everything, and there are human lives. We should be concerned about that, but you know.
Okay, we're going to leave it there for now. Herson Barrero, Susan Kang, thank you both for being here. That is going to do it for tonight's show. Thanks for watching and have a great evening. We'll see you next time inside City Hall.
And that's a look at some of what's in the papers this morning.
You've done with the sports section.
Today's story is about the latest chapter for a beloved local business.
It's a beautiful day with temperatures in the 60s, but showers are expected in the next hour.
In a city that's always on the go, it's important to stop to hear the stories that connect us.
The news that matters to New Yorkers. That's what brings us together. That's Mornings on One.
Weekdays starting at 6.
You might think Spectrum is just for your home, but Spectrum is seamless connectivity everywhere. It's the network making the other networks sweat. Connectivity from an actual internet company, because internet is what you actually use your phone for. It's way more than 5G. With Spectrum One, it's 5G and fiber-powered internet, seamlessly combined for the fastest wireless speeds. Don't believe us? Ask this guy. He's one of millions who already know. Oh yeah, and this guy too. Turns out people like their mobile from a seamless connectivity company. Fastest growing mobile provider. Spectrum One. It's only the seamless connection you love at home, everywhere you go.